Wow, a lot of things happened today. Apparently, there was a cyber outage, cyber security, with one of the worst malwares that you can get today, which is an update from a trusted source. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if the actual things that we pay money for aren't more invasive than the alleged malwares that we're supposed to be protected from. It's just like I was talking with someone that is an IT guru. I love the word IT guru, and he was saying it's almost impossible that you're not going to get some sort of malware on your computer in 2024. So there's like a lot of people that just back up their data constantly rather than worry about security. But I suppose like if you're a bank or something, then it makes sense that you take extra measures. But still, even with the extra measures, I guess you don't expect the company that's supposed to protect you to actually give you the malware. So what ended up happening today is that almost every major company got their computers bricked by a security update. So we're talking about airplanes being grounded. We're talking about airports unable to perform. We're talking about not hospitals, but like hotels. Yeah, like people weren't able to get into their rooms. People weren't able to check out. People weren't able to check in. Very difficult. Very difficult. And apparently the fix wasn't that difficult. Like in order to fix it, even if you don't know how, it's a small search on Google. There's YouTube videos that teach you how to fix it. And apparently, people aren't allowed to fix it simply due to the fact that, no, you need to get the IT guy. This is what's happening at Blizzard right now. So I have it on good authority that none of the Blizzard studios are working because their computers are bricked. And you may be like, okay, well, you know, I would expect it if it was at a place where people play canasta or people play bingo. You know, it's bingo night and the computer isn't running. So what do you do then, right? Then no one knows how to fix it, and the IT guy is apparently on a holiday. But we're talking about Blizzard, like everyone is a developer there, right? Like people are coders. Like why can't they just fix their own computer? And is that they're not allowed, which shows why AAA is actually shit nowadays. Because back in the day, you had like 10 people in a garage that knew how to fix stuff, right? They were doing it out of passion. Now everything is corporate. It's bureaucratic. It's like, no, you're not allowed to touch it. You need to wait for the IT guy to fix it. So even if they know how to fix it, they can't. And apparently they only have 2 IT guys, right? Like they have an absolute army of diversity officers and gender studies major. Like they have a lot of those. If there was some racist joke or sexist, was like that guy would be on the job. But unfortunately, it's IT related, so they only have 2 guys. Hopefully the diversity officer isn't going to look into their Twitter to see if they said something offensive 9 years ago and fire the one out of the 2 guys that still works there. Not all developers actually know how to use a computer. You don't need to know how to use a computer. This is what I'm saying. You can Google it. Like, all you can do is, like, you Google how to fix it. Fuck, you have ChatGPT. ChatGPT can even tell you, guide you step by step on how to fix it. See, American Outlier would probably know how to do it. Hope my day is good. Also, right to repair. This is not about right to repair. It's more about companies being so bureaucratic that they wouldn't allow their own people to repair their computer. Yeah, indies are definitely more efficient. Like, if it happened to me, right? Let's say, like, all my artists had their computers bricked, I would be like, oh, shit, well, that's bad. Well, listen, can you fix it? If you can't fix it yourself, then I'll get someone to help you. And obviously, I would prefer if you can fix it yourself so that we don't waste too much time on this. But it's also the thing with, I suppose people aren't enthusiastic about making games. Like if this were to happen in my company, and everyone's computer was bricked, like people would be like, no, I really want to work on the game. Like I'll have a laptop. I'll use something else. I use a tablet. I'll use something else. I'm not going to go home. I want to finish my work hours. Like we need to get the game finished. Like people are excited. But what you see at AAA studios, people are probably happy that they get to go home and still pick up a paycheck. And they still get paid, right? So it's like, oh, you get to go home early. Yay! No one is excited about it. Yeah, instead of right to repair, let's also talk about the right not to update. Like, this actually should be, unironically, a right. Ever since the invention of the internet, we don't actually have rights for users, which is kind of interesting because you can't live without the internet in modern times. Like, almost everything happens on the internet. You need the job, you need to use the internet. Even if you want to date, you gotta use the internet. Like it's very difficult to live in a modern society in a first world country without the internet. Like, you'd be ostracized, right? So, you, you have all these rights in real life, but almost no right online. And one of the rights that I would really want is the right not to update. Like, if you don't want to update, you shouldn't be forced to. And recently, we have noticed things where people would buy a smart TV, and they would install it on a wall. So, like, you drill holes in the wall, you have to bring the massive thing home, and you finally manage to place it on a wall, and then there's an update, and you have a choice. You can either select that you want to update, or you brick your TV. So, you basically have no choice, right? Sure, you can say, oh, I want to charge back. I want to send it back. Like, let's assume that this is even happening, like, shortly after you bought the TV. Well, okay, you still have holes in your wall now. You already put the labor in bringing it in. Now you have to bring it back. You gotta buy a new TV, and it's like a lot of people don't want to do that. Internet Bill of Rights. The thing is that there is no interest in people making that happen. And even if you were to make like an American Bill of Rights for the internet or something like that, you can't stop internet companies from moving. They can just move their offices somewhere else, and then you're going to have to, we either ban them or we just put up with it. So that's probably one of the reasons why I can't have an internet bill of rights, unless it's like a worldwide thing. Like a lot of countries agree with it. So like the EU wants to have an internet bill of rights, the United States wants to have an internet bill of rights, and everyone does that. But the reality is they don't care about the average person. Like, they don't give a shit, you know? Instead, what they do is an internet bill of obligations. Like, if you look at the EU, like, they legislate, and it's in favor of the politicians. It's like, the politicians go, like, we want this and this and that. You know, we want you to remove the content that makes us look bad. We want you to remove content that's legal, but we don't like. And if you don't do it in 24 hours, we're going to fine you, right? So, like, this is what they actually care about. There is actually no political will in order to make, like, something that the user benefits. Yeah, I did talk about the IT shutdown. Yeah. It's kind of wild. There is no mode in Windows to stop a driver from loading if it fails. There's a lot of weird things. But anyway, right. So, Twitch unbans Donald Trump. I'm actually going to make a video about this on my secondary channel as well. It's the dumbest thing that I ever seen, because a lot of people are saying, oh my god, that's so based. Oh, it's based. Is it based that he got banned in the first place? Because this is what I don't get. Like, why are people happy what Twitch is doing? Like, the reason they're unbanning him is because they banned him. So the question is, like, did Donald Trump say something offensive on a Minecraft stream? Like what happened? Why is Donald Trump banned from Twitch? And the answer, he did nothing. I don't even know if he had an account on Twitch. They literally banned him as a virtue signal because it was popular to ban the sitting president of the United States. Yeah, like Twitch unbanned the Donald. Like, I guess now he can go back playing Minecraft. He can challenge Joe Biden to a game of Fortnite and be like, Joe, I heard you're a really bad shot. I heard you're really bad with the sniper rifle, Joe. Here, I'll even sit still for you. I'll just move my head to the side. Joe, I dodge bullets in real life. So yeah, they unbanned him, which is very bizarre, because he was banned in the first place. Now, I always wondered, it's like, okay, so the reason they're okay, they're unbanning him, and now what, right? Like, this was the question that I had. It's like, so what if they're unbanning him? Well, it turns out that if someone is banned from Twitch, you can't make videos about them. right? So like other content creators, like Dr. Disrespect, wouldn't have been able to make videos about the Donald. But now that he's unbanned, leftists can criticize him. I mean, for those of you who don't know, like this is really fucked up and weird. But there were people like a really good chess player. He made a video about I think it was not Dr. Disrespect, some other streamer, but he was playing chess, and the chess master got banned for doing that because the other streamer was banned. So now that Donald is unbanned, you can actually make videos about him on Twitch, which is very interesting because there were also a lot of right-wing personalities that would go on Twitch and get purposefully banned so that breadtubers would stop making videos about them. And ironically, React OS is the closest you can get to Windows because the OS can actually run Windows applications. I don't know if you can run Steam. Well, if you can't run Steam, it's useless. The EU enforced GDPR, which is supposed to be for the users to choose which cookies websites to use. GDPR completely destroyed any chance of the European Union of having a social media. So, I forgot which country it was. It was an Eastern European country. But basically they came up with sort of like Facebook-like social media, and it was growing rapidly. It was very popular with Europeans. But then GDPR hits, and they're saying, oh, well, it's impossible for us to do business like this. It's too expensive. Like the requirements of what GDPR asks for, we cannot do it because we're a small company and we do not have the money of doing it. Now, Facebook and Google and all the others, they can. Like, from my understanding, they just have, like, different servers in Europe. And the data that goes from European people goes to those servers, and they don't touch it, and that's how it works. But the big companies of social media can be GDPR compliant. However, the little guys cannot. So, any type of small social media that would have opened in the European Union, they just can't comply. And I think it's the same with AI, right? So, Europe is the only country on Earth which has AI regulations. And they're really proud of that. They're extremely proud of the fact that, oh, the European Union is the first nation state. And by the way, the European Union isn't even a nation. But anyway. But they were really proud of the fact that, oh, we came up with regulation from AI. To regulate, you don't even need to be smart. Like, literally any person can regulate. But to actually innovate, oh, that's difficult. So now the only players in the world that are making AI seem to be China, the United States, and maybe Britain. And the EU just cuts itself off the market. Like, whenever it's something technological, whenever it's something that can change society and give jobs to people, or, you know, in the case of AI, it would take jobs from people. But, like, you still want your country to be competitive in something that cannot be stopped, and it's something better than to be reliant on the AI that other nations use, right? In which case, like, Europe is going to be reliant on the AI that the Americans use. So they're still going to lose jobs because the AI is still going to be here, but they're not going to make money out of it. It's just insane. I don't even know what to say. All social media companies should refuse to comply with the GDPR, let the EU ban Twitter, etc., and see how their citizens riot. I mean, I don't think they would riot, simply due to the fact that they would have, like, businesses that would fail catastrophically, and eventually that's what's going to change the thing. Like, the riots aren't even necessary. Facebook did this with Australia, right? So, like, Facebook is called the boomer platform because a lot of old people use it. But in some countries, it's actually still very popular. So, like, Facebook has the ability of allowing small companies to advertise. And it's one of the best ways you can. So for instance, if I want to see which are the best cafes in my neighborhood, you go on Facebook and you actually find, you know, people talking about the cafes and stuff. So the moment Facebook was taken off, a lot of businesses were losing big time. To the point where the Australian government begged Facebook to come back. Now, your idea would be for Google and Twitter and all the other companies to do the same with the EU. But why, though? like Google loves the fact that it doesn't have competition, right? Like this is what big companies want. Like take into account the big guy in the pool, he wants the water level to keep going up. Like imagine a pool where if the water level is higher than your head, you gotta get out of the pool. Like you can't swim. No one can swim, right? And the one that stays in the pool wins. So like what does the tallest guy say? Like more water, right? And everyone that's shorter than him has to leave the pool. This is pretty much what's happening in the corporate environment. It's like you got Google, you got Twitter, you got Facebook, and the EU goes like, oh, well, you need a lot of money in order to be able to operate. And they're like, well, okay, well, we can either be GDPR compliant and pay this, and then make sure that no one that's poorer than us can give us competition, or we can pull away from the EU, allow the EU to change their mind and, you know, remake the legislation, and then, like, we're going to get competitors from overseas. Of course they don't want that. Well, why would they? AI has ruined game guides. Can't even look up articles when you're stuck? Oh, I see. Also, Facebook only banned news websites from Australia Facebook because the government was going to charge them from headline. Yeah, no, that's like really ridiculous. I do not understand why they think that this is a good idea. So like, okay, you got social media which gets traction from users that click on articles, right? So it's like symbiotic, if you will. Facebook puts an article on your feed, you click on it, and who gets to benefit? Oh, the journalist, right? Like they get your click. Facebook is happy because you do engagement, you go on their website in order to get informed. Everyone wins. But no, the journalists in their ever high greed, they're like, no, like Facebook should actually pay us. They should pay us a link tax. And I'm like, but why though? Because like you also use Facebook to write your garbage. Like there's very little journalists that are actually doing investigative reporting. Like what they do is they go on Twitter and they see, oh, look at this picture, or they go on TikTok and like look at this event, and then they take it, they put it on their website, they write a little bit of editorial, and that's the news. They're just like YouTubers. Now, of course, there are exceptions with major outlets, but everyone else does this. So, like, they don't pay a link tax to Facebook or Twitter when they take the news from the platform and put it on their page, but they expect Twitter or Facebook to pay them. Go fuck themselves. Facebook is boomers praying to AI pictures of Jesus. It depends on the country, though. Like, I agree that in the United States, Facebook is boomers. But in other places, no. So, let's listen to a lady.
So I'm seeing a thing where people are just coming clean like, hey, like I used to be liberal and now I'm not. That's me. I would also like to add into this conversation both political and non-political reasons why I'm no longer supporting liberals or Democrats. And I'm not just saying I was liberal. I fucking went to the George Floyd protests in Phoenix, Arizona. Here's another picture. I got fucking tear gassed, and this is me in a mask. Proof enough. I never met a happy liberal the whole time I was a liberal. I met depressed liberals, I met anxious liberals, I met fucking sociopathic liberals. And none of that was ever good for my mental health. Like, I had to get away from that because I was never gonna get better. And not only that, you guys are so insulting and condescending, and I was exactly like you when I was a liberal too. The first hint that somebody doesn't agree with what I think, I can't help it but sound condescending and then insult them immediately. Like, that's your opening. Not a very effective way to do politics.
Well, actually, it is effective if you have the numbers, but I have seen many such videos, especially since the failed assassination attempt. I have seen many people big like that, and it makes sense. Like, why are liberals unhappy? Well, if you believe that you live in a country that's systemically racist, and the nation state is evil, and anyone that thinks differently than you is evil, and the world is dying because environmentalism, and all you gotta do is to lower your living style forever, and not just that of you, but your children as well, and in fact don't have kids, and there is no higher power, there is no meaning. It's right, like when you think all these things, you're going to be miserable and unhappy. You know, like, look, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in Jesus. But, like, if people delude themselves to the point where they believe in Krishna or, you know, some other deity or whatever, right? If they actually believe that there is some deity out there, and that deity is real, and there is a plan, and if they live a good life, then the reward is in the afterlife, they're going to be happier than someone that believes the world is ending. You gotta lower your lifestyle forever, in perpetuity. Just suffer without air conditioning, eat the bugs, stay in the tiny house in perpetuity, and don't have kids. Like, how can you have a happy life like that? That sounds like something that people who get conquered would be forced to live under. You know, it's like, oh, we conquered your nation, and we need our soldiers to take the fertile lands. So you guys, you gotta sit in the pod and eat the bugs, cause like that's what you get for not putting up a better fight. I'm depressed because we are in a crappy cyber dystopia, and the only way we can change that is through Minecraft memes. I don't think so. I don't think the world is that bad. I mean, look, okay, fuck's sakes, Zlixion, imagine, right? You are born during the Great Depression. You know what? Here's the white pill. Fuck. I will show you something. So. This is a real picture. Historical picture. You can find many such pictures on YouTube, actually. Sorry, on Google. This is during the Great Depression, right? Children for sale. It's unthinkable now, right? It happened in my country, too. It's during times of great poverty. And back then, it wasn't as regulated as it was now, but yeah, it's like the biggest... And you can see the mother is ashamed as well, right? So imagine you're born during the Great Depression. Now, the Great Depression keeps on going, and then World War II kicks in. So now you gotta go fight in World War II. Very painful. Many ways to die. Each more painful than the last. Everyone that you know probably gets blown up at some point. Like you must know at least 2 or 3 people that die. Maybe you survive without a limb or something like that, right? Then what do you get? You get the Vietnam War? Did you get to live through that? I don't know. I think even with all the bad stuff that's going around, and the fact that the world is not as good as it used to be in 2020, and it's not as good as it used to be in 2016, and so forth, I still feel like we're better off. There's many times in history that I look at and I'm like, I'm so glad I don't live in them. Spoons actually said me something. If you were born in 1900, you would have lived through a tumultuous century marked with 2 devastating global conflicts. World War I. You would have been 14 years old when the war began, 18 years old when it ended, with approximately 22 million people killed. It's not just that, but like the technological advancements were very difficult to comprehend by people. Like the idea of seeing cars everywhere. Like that alone was mindfuck. But yeah, World War I, incredibly devastating. Like, just imagine that you don't partake in it, right? Like you're a kid, so like your parents escort you out, and when you come back, your entire house is just rubble. Like you're now living on the streets, basically. Good luck finding food. Spanish flu pandemic. As a young adult, you would have witnessed the devastating Spanish flu pandemic, which claimed an estimate of 50 million lives worldwide. This pandemic would have been a traumatic experience, especially considering the limited medical understanding. I heard they did have vaccines for that. They caused the cytokinetic storm. Cytokinesis? Fortuna cu citochine, okay? Like I said it in Romanian. I know my medicine, it's just I don't know how to translate. World War II. You're 39 years old when World War II began, and 45-year-old when it ended, with approximately 60 million dead. This war would have fought further disruption and hardship to your life. Now, again, it depends where you're born, right? It's one thing to be born in France, where you don't get to see that much action. It's another thing to be born in Russia. Tovarish. Vietnam War. As you approach your 75th birthday, the Vietnam War would have finally come to an end, leaving a lasting impact on global politics and your personal life. Yeah, so like, people that keep telling me, oh, it's so bad, oh, it's getting bad. It's like, compared to what? Compared to what? No, I do agree, it's not as good. Like, if you compare it to 2020, I agree, it's getting bad. But if it's like, oh, it's such a bad time to live in, no. No. Trump going to be a Herbert Hoover? Look, I'm not that well versed into the American history. They messed up so badly that he is now both a heroic icon and a victim. He has the righteous sword and impenetrable shield with divine mandate. Man, I keep seeing the videos that people make showing the bullet trajectory. Like, his head movement had such a limited window of opportunity to dodge that shit. Like, to call it like 1 in a million is not even fair. I mean, if I was Trump, I would start playing the lottery. Like this man is so fucking lucky. Let me see if I can find the video with the bullet thing. Just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Like someone did a 3D rendering of him being Neo from the Matrix and dodging that bullet. Ah, here we go. Right. So look at this, chat. Now obviously, this is not the actual bullet. The head movement has been recreated using 3D technology, right? So like they mapped the head, and this is his actual head. But the bullet, like they used the trajectory based on the damage to his ear, right? So like they made it make sense. And just look at this.
Take a look what happened.
Right? Like he just turned his head and he looked at a chart, and he obviously was going to turn his head back, right? Like he would have done this. This is the move that he would have done. So like if the shooter would have waited a little bit longer, he would have been back like this. And if he shot a little bit sooner, he would have hit. Like this is absolutely insane. Like it's, if he would have like stepped to the left or, like moved his body away or something like that, you would be like, okay, well, it's still lucky, but like, I can see it happening. But like what he did is like such a small window of opportunity, just like move to the left. And there's another vision, there's another picture which shows you what the shooter was looking at. Let me see if I can find that. Scrolling through many pictures, trying to see it. But it's also... Ah, here we go. Right? So like this was a couple of milliseconds earlier, and then this is how it happened when he moved his head. And you're looking at this and you're like, dude, like to say that this man was an inch away from death is an understatement. I brought the shirt with the iconic fist pump image and wore it in public today. I got more positive looks than negative ones. Yeah, I mean, even leftists are saying, yeah, no, that's pretty fucking badass. The thing that I don't get is the religiosity of it, right? Because, like, if you're an atheist, you're like, well, I mean, it can happen. It's, like, incredibly lucky. But if you're a Christian, you're like, well, this is divine intervention, and then you realize, well, actually, another person behind him died. So, like, what did God mean by this? But I know, like, the firefighter, right? Like, he died. So, if you actually believe that God deflected the bullet or something, I mean, I guess, but, like, come on, God. To be fair, you know, like, maybe there were more people that would have gotten shot, but, like, God managed to deflect a lot of them. It's just, like, one he just couldn't. It's over Anakin, I have the sloped ground, yeah. Maybe it's like a Final Destination type of thing, where like a person in the audience just like activate, like he survived death once, and now it's a Final Destination event. I don't know, but it's like it's difficult, like even for a leftist, to not look at this and say, yeah, no, that's pretty fucking badass. Anyway, I wanted to show you who I voted for at the European Union. I think that the European
God we trust!
I think the European Union is creating radical problems for farmers, people like myself, the green agenda, right? So radical problems require radical solutions, and I voted for the person that's like the biggest troll ever, and so far she has not disappointed. I understand that, you know, I need to vote for a woman, like we need more representation, like the left insisted on it, and I want to be a good leftist, so I voted for this lady.
In God we trust!
Excuse me.
In God we trust!
Excuse me. Please.
You give people a head to speak! Get out of here! In God we trust!
She basically said that the EU is demonic, and that she's going to bring a priest in order to sanctify her office before she's going to use it. Brought a religious icon in there, much to the dismay of the Orthodox Church itself, because the Orthodox Church issued a press statement that a religious icon is actually a window into the divine, and it's about piety, and it's not about making a show. And I'm like, I'm an atheist. I don't care. I know it pisses off people in the EU. If it makes Guy Verhofstadt feel uncomfortable, I think my vote is worth it. Like, this is the extent of power that I have. This is the level of the middle finger that I can give to the people that constantly dislike me, that constantly are condescending towards me. I hate their smugness. Yeah, I hate their ideas. I do not like them, but I do have a chance to vote. And I do feel represented by that lady, 100%. Like, if I was there, there's nothing else that I would have done. It's like, no, perfect. She represented me to a T. I thought that this is what democracy is all about, right? So, here we go. Salah the L. Hi, Kaviz. I heard you missed me. Don't worry for me. I'll be right back. I don't know who you are. Did you change your name? American Outlier, thank you for the $5. Speaking of Trump, my two neighbors think it was strange, and I mean deep in the Kool-Aid, and one of them is the neighbor trying to hook me up with his daughter. You know, like, I don't blame the man. I genuinely don't. I'm not going to be a dick about it. I'm not going to be a dick about it, and I'll tell you why. Right now, you look at the Secret Service, and the thing was so fucking botched. It was so botched that I do understand why people think that maybe it was malice. Okay? So, like, you have that on our side. Now, on their side, that thing looks so fucking perfect. Like he got a photo up that no money can buy. Like even if he was to stage it, it wouldn't have come up that well. It's perfect. Like, just perfect. Like, everything. Like, dude, every little thing about that moment is so perfect that the media can't even spin it. The only thing that the media does is right now they said, even though that picture is cool, stop using it because you're making him grow in the polls. I mean, I'm willing to bet even Anna Kasparian wet herself. Like, there is a video, okay? There is a video that you can watch, and it shows, like, behind Trump at the RNC, there is a lady with a red shirt, and she's squeezing her pussy. Like, this is on live, okay? I can't show it on YouTube, but like she's basically like grabbing her crotch. And my take on this is that Trump has become such a stud that pussies just grab themselves around him. Like we have reached the level where he doesn't need to do any grabbing. The pussies just grab themselves. And thank you, Spock, for the $5. Right? So like when you have like this level of you saw that video, right? Well, it's a woman that's sitting behind Trump. She's a very attractive lady. And for some reason, I don't know why, but she's like grabbing her crotch. And you can see that like there's a squeeze going on. So I like when you reach this level of studiness, that like you have this aura around you, this aura of thick masculinity, where pussies just grab themselves. Yeah, I mean, I can see why people on the left would think that it must have been staged, like that there is like it has reached a level of perfection that just cannot happen naturally. It was Laura Loomer. I don't know. I didn't see her face. But it's basically like Trump speaking, and there's like this massive screen, and behind Trump there's this lady that just like grabs her crotch and squeezes. He does have a cult of personality around him, but he definitely does now. Like there is no fucking way around it. He is the, like people say, he is the right winger of George Floyd, except he survived. Like he has become something even more than a martyr, because like a martyr passed away, right? But he's still alive. And people look at him and they spark like this level of divinity and like godly intervention in people, and they actually believe that. So yeah, it's a cultural thing. Like before the assassination attempt, it was incredibly unpopular to support Donald Trump. Now you have leftists, like actual leftists coming on. It's like, yeah, no, I support them. He did become God Emperor, yeah. Now this is a cult of personality that was done grassroots. Like there are dictators around the world that have to work hard for years to reach this level of cult of personality, and it's not even genuine. Like most people just clap because they're forced to. But like with Trump, like dude, it's insane. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like the energy that he's creating right now, just due to that. I don't know if he's going to carry it all the way until the election. There's still a couple more weeks, so anything can change. But if the elections were tomorrow, there's no doubt about it, he would win 100%. Even if it would happen, something that doesn't happen in the history of the United States, and one party would cheat, right? Like even if that would happen, Trump would still win. Too big to steal. Way too big. I don't think they can. I wouldn't be surprised if there are illegal immigrants that got into the country and they would just vote for Trump anyway because he's such a fucking Chad at this point. Yeah, so, it's not all good though. Like a lot of power can go to a person's head, and the fact that Trump is also old doesn't make me happy. I don't think it's good if either side remains in power for too long. You know, I don't like it if you have like a left-leaning government that gets too comfortable, and then they govern for like several consecutive terms. And they start with their liberal lunacy. Same thing with right-wingers. Update. Trump assassination attempt. Here we go. Audio forensics confirm at least 3 separate weapons were fired in the attempt. But like, isn't this what we know? I don't understand like why people are saying things that are easily explainable and they treat it as if it's a conspiracy theory. Like there are certain things that look weird, but then there's also other things that make sense. There was another sniper team. Like, there's like, okay, so there's the assassin that fired the first weapon. There are the people behind Trump, which fired the second weapon. And there was like another sniper team from a different position, and they fired as well. So it's 3 weapons. Like, why are people trying to say there's multiple shooters? I don't get it. And even if they were, it's like, okay, like how does that change things? There are certain things that don't make sense, and this is like something that I do like to press people on. The first one is the FBI said that the shooter was working alone, and then the FBI said that they haven't gotten into his phone yet. I think they did now, but like at the time they didn't. So it's like, okay, if you haven't gotten into his phone, how the fuck do you know that he was working alone? That makes no fucking sense. There was another FBI lady, like that one was funny as fuck. But I can actually debunk this conspiracy. Well, I can't fully debunk it, but I kind of can make sense of it. So there's this lady behind Trump, and everyone is panicking, but she's remaining calm. Right? So it's really bizarre when you're looking at it. Like she's got this stone cold, very chillax mannerisms to her. And you know, the shots are going on and people are panicking, but she doesn't flinch. She just pulls her phone and starts filming. So a lot of people thought that maybe she's an accomplice or that she knows that it's going to happen. And then people look into it, and it turns out that she's FBI. And not just any FBI, but she's like a high-ranking official. Now, the way I can explain it and how I can debunk the fact that she was an accomplice is that she was sitting in the line of fire, man. It's that if you know that it's going to happen, the last place you want to be is behind the person that's going to get hit. In fact, like, next to her, there was one of the victims, I think, like, the firefighter. So this is what didn't make sense to me. It's like, okay, well, if she was there as an accomplice, and again, like, I don't know why. Like, why would you need an accomplice over there? Why would she sit in such a dangerous position? What I think actually happened, and this is a small possibility, but whatever, the FBI isn't allowed to endorse political candidates. So she wasn't there like in an official capacity. She just wanted to listen to the speech. And when she saw what's going on, like, you know, she actually did have training. Apparently, like, she got trained in the Air Force, so like gunfire wouldn't be something that would scare her. So what she did is, like, she actually got her phone in order to record it, which is something that I would do as well, due to the fact that it's a once-in-a-lifetime event. I mean, fuck, like, you're assisting a historical moment. Like, this is definitely going to be in the history books, like the assassination attempt of a president. Like, this is going to be something that people will talk even 200 years from now. So, yeah, you're actually there on the spot witnessing that event. Picking up a phone and filming it is not unlikely. Yeah, she was back and to the left, but, like, again, you don't know the wind distance, how the shooter is going to fire. Like you're setting yourself in danger for no reason whatsoever. Like again, if you know that a guy is going to get hit, like, why would you be there? To do what? To film? I mean, you're going to get footage from the event anyway, and you can also film from a safer distance. You can use just a high-profile camera with the zoom function. Like, you do not need to be behind the man. Hide in plain sight. But, like, again, why would they need to hide? This is what I don't get. Just get a drone footage. Like, we have technology. It's not like during the time of JFK where you actually need the person on the ground to film stuff. It's already filmed. It's already live streamed on major publications. You already have people in the crowd that are going to film themselves. Like, there's literally no point why you'd put an agent behind the guy. I can't think of any. So yeah, no, like, there's a lot of things that don't make sense, but this is one of them. Yeah, the FBI lady, I don't think it makes much sense. Let me see if I can find actually the picture. Like the roof with the slope. That is one that doesn't make sense. There was another one that I thought makes sense, and then, like, the people themselves debunked it. Um, so there was hold on, give me a second. I got a message. Yeah. So the thing that generally doesn't make sense is that there was a hedge fund, I believe, associated with the Bush and the Bush family, and they short sold Donald Trump before this rally, and we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars of shorts, right? So everyone is looking at it and they're like, well, did they know something? Like, why would they short the president before the rally where he almost got assassinated? And my assumption at the time, because like usually I try to think of things that make sense, right? Like, this is how I'm thinking. Like, can this make sense in any way? Can I find a reason on how this makes sense? And I did. I was like, well, he was going to announce his vice president, and almost all the picks were bad. Like, if you look at before this assassination attempt, you look at the picks that Donald Trump could have had, and almost all of them were polling poorly. And I was like, okay, so maybe they were thinking that regardless of who the VP is, he's going to start losing a little bit of percentages. So, if you short sell him, then you manage to make a quick buck. And that was my thinking. However, they're basically coming out and they're saying, no, actually, it was a critical error on our side. And I'm like, holy shit, so you're telling me you did a critical error of $100 million? I mean, it is plausible, because, like, most of these tradings are done by bots, and they're automatic. But still, it looks very sus now. Like I found a really convenient excuse for you guys. I actually managed to make you guys look good. Give you a plausible excuse, a plausible out. But no. Oh, and it was also the Iran assassination pledge, right? Like, Iran said that they're going to take him out. So I was like, okay, well, you got that. And you also got the vice president shit. And it's like, okay, maybe like, they're thinking that now's the time to short sell. But no. Yeah, they lost $1 billion. That's a pretty fucked up critical error. Like, who's going to get fired for such a critical error? Like, if you work at a hospital and you lose 10 grand, you get fired. $1 billion is not going to get anyone fired? Oh my god, people still talk about Short Fat Otaku. I stopped listening to Short Fat Otaku. I understand he's having a meltdown because Destiny is having a meltdown. Like, my take on Short Fat Otaku is that unless Destiny makes a video or CNN reports on it, he doesn't believe it's happening. And now one of his major sources of information is having a meltdown. So what is he going to do? How is he going to get his takes? How will he know what to think if Destiny doesn't make the videos? But no, I stopped watching Short Fat Otaku. Like, his takes are kind of difficult to engage with, in the sense that he believes that in order to make your opinion, it needs to be like the criminal justice burden of proof, or that if nothing is done about it, that it doesn't happen, right? So, like, okay, but when you think like that, there's nothing we can talk about. Like, you think that the institutions and the governments are running. I think they're corrupt. Like, what else can we discuss? Please help him before he becomes a local. No, I just don't talk politics with him. Like, I still talk to him. I'm really upset about what he did with Crusaders as well. Like, that really pissed me off. So like, okay, you really like Rags and you don't want to play anymore. Like, that's fine. But what he did is he decided to play for one more session, stirs up drama, causes shit, and then after that session says he doesn't want to play. And it's like, well, what are we doing here? Why did you do that? Why did you behave like that? That's a little bit fucked up, isn't it? He's outright lying and slandering people. Oh no, you get slandered by Short Fat Otaku. Oh, holy shit. How will you recover? The thing with Destiny is also very weird. Like, Destiny is not mentally insane. Despite his weird takes, I still think he's normal. Like, he went on the lolcow live in order to crucify Boogie, right? Like, he knows what he's doing. And he has been doing these trolls in the past, but, like, I don't understand the purpose of trolling when you're losing your monetization as social media accounts. Right? You go on Piers Morgan and you make an embarrassment of yourself in front of people that don't even know who you are. I mean, is that good for business? I don't know. This is just, like, weird. It's very weird. Maybe he wants out. Maybe he wants to just push the envelope until he gets finally kicked. And it's like, okay, well, now I can't make streams anymore because there's nowhere to go. Because I was an edgy, cheeky little shit on the internet. I proved to the right-wingers that they're hypocrites. Yeah. He went to the right-wingers and said all conservatives deserve to be cancelled, not just on the internet, but in real life. Wait, no, why are you cancelling me? I thought conservatives were against cancel culture. You're all such hypocrites. Like, where does this rhetoric get you? I just asked to super cancel you in real life. It's like, why are you just canceling me for? Where are the free speech warriors? What happened? What happened? God fucking damn it. I watched the role-playing terror describes rags. I don't know, but like, I did watch Boogie. When Boogie was being pressed by Medicare and the others to show his medical records. And Boogie was like, and Medicare was like, yeah, but like, if you show your medical records, you could really destroy all your haters right now. And Boogie was like, yeah, I guess I could. But I'm not gonna. And I was like, well, that is literally Rags. Like, that's how Rags speaks. That's the inflection of his voice. That would be his arguments in that situation. Like he genuinely transcended into Rags. Yeah, all the free speech warriors were canceled. Lots of cancellations. I even said, it's like, look, I don't want him to be canceled. I think that everyone should hear what he has to say. I think like it should be a requirement. You know, if the CEO of what the company that fucked and then bricked all the computers, yeah, if that guy was to make an update where instead of crashing your computer, you'd get to listen to a Destiny live stream, I would support him. I think that would be a great idea. Oh, they're both from Arkansas. Oh, fucking hell, like that would explain it. The thing with Boogie, like the stuff that he is going with right now is that, okay, so, and this is my understanding, like, please correct me if I'm wrong, but he believes that they found tumor markers in his blood, right? So, like, they found the cancer markers in his blood, and I can tell you as a doctor what this means. It means that there is a possibility he has cancer, but unless you fully diagnose it, and you can diagnose it with a biopsy or other tests depending on the cancer he has. But unless you give, like, the final diagnostic, then you can't take treatment for it. Now, if you can't take treatment for it, why are you asking people for money? But, like, I guess it's possible, right? So, for prostate cancer, you got, like, the PSA levels, right? So you have, like, really abnormally high PSA levels, and that may make you think that, okay, well, chances are you got a cancer, but you still need to get, like, the gold standard for diagnostic, which is a biopsy. So, unless you get the biopsy, no doctor can ever give you treatment. But, like, I think what he is going with is like, okay, well, I saw that, and I didn't get the biopsy. Now the thing is, there are certain patients that generally don't want to know. I don't know how to explain it, but, like, they will find out, okay, well, I may have cancer, and I need to get this screened, but they just don't want to get it screened because they're afraid that they may find out they do. But if that's the case, like, he should have been honest with people from the beginning, and he should have said, it's like, I may have cancer because I have, like, these high markers, but I'm afraid to do it, or I don't have money to do it. I mean, I'm pretty sure if Boogie would have come and said, Boogie would have come, if he would have went online and he would have said, look, I got these bad test results, and I'm really worried that I may have cancer, but I don't have the money to continue the tests, I guarantee to you, like, his subscribe star would be filled. His coffers would be filled. Like, people would have donated. It's like, oh, come on, it's Boogie. It's Boogie. You know, and they would have given him money. But he didn't do that. Melanie Chan got 5,000 in court because some journalist made some joke because she's short. 5'3" with an attitude. Basically, the video describes what Rags did through the entire Crusader campaign in 95% yes. We might see Wings do a redemption arc. What the fuck did Wings do to get the hate? I mean, I haven't followed him properly, but like I don't know what Wings did to hurt another person, right? Like usually, when I dislike someone, it's not because they're acting ridiculous or they're acting stupid or they're behaving in a bad way, but they're going out of their way in order to hurt another person. Like that's what pisses me off, right? A lot of people are like, why don't I hate this guy or why don't I hate that guy? It's because like I don't see them actually hurting people. Like DSP, for instance. Yeah, he did a lot of stupid things and he's an obnoxious twat, but like who isn't? But with Boogie, it's like, okay, you're scamming your audience. You're duplicitous. You're asking the core ring to hire assassins for you. You know, it's like, why are you doing these things? Yeah, how many people are destroying their careers this year? Holy shit. So we got Dr. Disrespect. Again, like if I was Dr. Disrespect's PR person, I would just facepalm so bad right now. Like I have no fucking idea why he did what he did. So Dr. Disrespect, right? Gets accused of behaving inappropriate towards minors. And there's no logs, there's no evidence, there's jack shit. It's just like their words. It's like, it's on my authority that this happened. But there's no logs, right? There's absolutely nothing. So, if he would have been quiet about it, if he would have shut up, that would have been it. But he decides to go, no, yeah, I actually did talk to him about it. And sometimes it led into uncomfortable areas. It's like, how can you say that in the same sentence and think that it's going to make you look good? Because, like, again, the reason he wrote that was to make himself look good. So, yeah, I would consider that it is him tanking his own career. Like let's assume that he did talk to a minor, and after that, I'm being devil's advocate here. He absolutely regretted it. Like, he can't sleep at night. He feels remorse. He's like, what the fuck was I doing? Why did I say that? Oh, sure. You know, and this torments him. It torments him for years. And, you know, at this point, it's out of his hands. Like you become Dr. Disrespect after the event. You can't unwritten it. It's done. It happened. Right? But when you go and you admit to it, that is you tanking your own career. That is you. And the thing is, like, it's not even illegal. That's the thing. Like, I don't know what he said. I don't know what that conversation had. But, like, apparently the government didn't find the crime there. So, yeah, it was, okay. That was Dr. Disrespect. Then you have Boogie. You know, Boogie does the thing with the coin. And I get it. He's like, oh, don't buy the coin. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like, he wasn't like, buy it and it will make you rich. He's like, no, don't buy it, don't buy it. But then he goes on all these streams allowing people to question him. Like if you know you're lying, why are you allowing people to question you? Like, if you genuinely know that you are full of shit, why would you go and allow Medicare of all people to grill you? Like, the man has cancer and the man can always go, it's like, look, I mean, it's fucking Medicare with his anonymity, right? Like, he is one of the few people on the internet that we genuinely do not know how his face looks like. And even he goes like, yeah, this is my medical records, here you go. Like, why would you put yourself into that position? Did Dev put a Sonic medallion recently? I don't know. I genuinely don't know what the fuck Dev did, but a lot of people are upset at it. So, So that's what Boogie did. And then you look at Destiny. And Destiny says the most edgy shit ever. Like, why? In what world? In what potential world does he think it's okay to make fun of a dead firefighter? Like for people that don't understand, a firefighter is a man that goes into burning buildings to save kittens. Like, you just lose the argument. In any situation, it doesn't matter if the guy is left. Like, even if the firefighter was an Antifa, okay? If the firefighter was a certified, bona fide Antifa, and he was like at a rally, and he got shot, and you make fun of, you lose. It's like, you're not, no, there's no moral high ground, there's no slope. You don't have the slope proof, you don't have shit. Like, you just, it's like making fun of a kid that's bald. Like, it actually reminded me, there was this game back in the day, I forgot the name of it, Dragon Quest or some shit. And apparently the developer was using the picture of their kid that was bald. Allegedly the kid may have had leukemia or something like that. And the developer was leftist as fuck, right? And I was telling people, do not criticize this game. Ignore, pretend it doesn't exist. There's a bald kid on the box. You lost the argument before you open your mouth. Like, there is nothing. It doesn't matter what his father did. It doesn't matter who the father supports. It just no. Okay? Do not talk about this game. Ignore it. Just know, like, it's the same with the firefighter. It's like, you cannot win. It's like, what are you doing? What? You're a streamer. Unless you can say that it's horrible and your condolences, you shut the fuck up. It just, I don't know what to say. It's so fucking bizarre. Like, my point with this is that you have streamers going out of their fucking way to destroy their careers. And now there's people digging through them, right? Because, like, that's what happens when you piss off the internet, people start digging through you. Like, there's logs that are like 5 or 10 years old just coming back to life to upset Destiny. Sorry about that. But V, he said this one thing this one time. Oh yeah, I saw the thing with Destiny. So I actually know the lore because you already explained it once. Like, usually when I see something that a content creator said, and it's like 3 years ago, my question is like, okay, if it's that vile, why didn't people talk about it then? But the thing is, like, when you say something really old and people just clip it after 3 years, there's no more context. Now, I forgot the fucking context of it, but like, a lot of people like to pretend that shock humor doesn't exist. You know, the Beavis and Butthead, the South Park, the Jackass, like shock humor. You say something absolutely shocking, and the humor is to see the face of the person you just said it, right? So, like, it used to be racist jokes, and the left would be like, well, why would you make such a joke? Like, what is the argument of you making a racist joke, right? Like, it's never acceptable. You should never say the N-word, for instance, right? So when you make jokes regarding minors, or you make jokes about pedophilia or things like that, it's still shock humor, but again, it's like, why would you make such a joke? Why would you ever say something like that? Why would you do that? You know, like, you can't have answers for that. You can't have answers for that. And the reason why he did it is because at the time it was culturally acceptable to say it. But culture shifts, right? So just like it was acceptable to say the N-word in 2012, or to say the F-word, it's not acceptable now. So what he did was talking to a mature woman, and they were talking in public, and the woman goes like, here's a picture of me when I was 10 years old, and Destiny goes like, oh, I would have liked to bend you over, some shit like that. Just vile stuff, right? But the thing is, like, there were no pictures exchanged. At least that's the claim. That's why people didn't get upset then. Because, like, I was wondering, like, well, okay, well, if that's the case, why did people get upset then and they're getting upset now? Well, because back then there were no pictures exchanged. This was them just shit-talking in order to create the shock humor. I forgot why he did it exactly. But yeah, now the picture is coming back to haunt him. And good luck explaining it. Because there is no explanation. It's like, why would you say that? What is the comeback? Yeah, you wouldn't say that, would you? No. Like apparently she sent him a DM, but like no DM actually happened. Like, that is his explanation. There was no DMs. It was just public conversation. Now here's the other question, right? The interesting thing is that the woman is not placed under any scrutiny. And you see this every single time when it involves a woman. There is no scrutiny of a woman. What type of woman, and this is a legit question, what type of woman would give pictures of herself at 10 years old to another man? Right? Like, does that make any sense? Do you know many girls that would do that? And if a girl actually did that, like if a girl actually, right, she's like, let's say 22, and she takes a picture of herself when she is 10 and shows it to a guy and goes like, wasn't I hot back then? Like, what? Does that make any sense? Which is why I tend to believe him. But fuck, maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? He's still going to get grilled anyway. Like, there's nothing I can do to stop it grilling. And to be honest, I don't even know if I want to. I mean, I don't think if I was ever grilled for shit that I said like 5 years ago, I don't think Destiny would come to my defense. So. Destiny was the one expressing lust over 10 years old. Yeah, but like, that's not what happened. Like, he was talking with a grown woman, and the grown woman goes like, I was hot when I was 10. Here's a picture check your DMs. And then he says that she is hot. But apparently there was no picture being sent. It's all a ruse. Like, they're acting. They're pretending as if a picture was sent. But again, no woman would send a picture of herself when she is 10 to another person. Like that. I personally don't think there is such a woman, but the internet is always full of surprises, so. Kai Trump is who's Kai Trump? I have no idea. What? Well, that's what happened. I'm trying to explain the story to its minute detail. The thing is, like, by the way, speaking of age differences, there is a bizarre trend on Twitter, which is mostly ran by Karens with no eggs. They really hate the Leonardo DiCaprio effect. And the Leonardo DiCaprio effect is that I think like he's like, what, like 30, 40? And the moment a girlfriend of his reaches the age of 25, he dumps her, right? So there's like the big age difference where Leonardo DiCaprio is like 40. How old is the man? Hold on, actually I need to check. So Leonardo DiCaprio is 50 years old. Okay. So he's 50 years old and he dates women that are in their 20s. Now, there's nothing wrong with it because the women are adults, right? So, but there are people that go like, oh my god, like 10 years ago she was just 10. And it's like, why is it your fucking business? But no one puts the onus on the woman. Like, even though it's two fucking adults, right? Like, you get Leonardo DiCaprio, he's 50. His girlfriend is 20. They're both adults. And for some fucking reason, even though the woman can consent, no one is upset about it. No one is upset. Now, in my country, they would be upset. Like here's the thing. In my country, if you have, like, a huge age difference, so, again, like, 30 years is actually a huge age difference, right? People will look at you as an asshole because you're taking advantage of her. There is the Romanian expression, you're making a mockery of her. Like, it's like, obviously you're not there to start a household. Like, you're not there in order to help her start a family. No, you're there in order to have sex with her, right? Like, that's your interest. That's what people are going to assume. So people are going to look at you with disdain. Especially her family. But in the event you actually marry her, so the guy is 50 and he marries a 20-year-old woman, all the disgust from society in Romania goes to the woman now. Why? Well, because she's a gold digger. It's like, you married an elderly man to take his fortune away. You're a black widow. You're a gold. Right? So, at least in my country, like, women can be held responsible. It's like, okay, so you got daddy issues. Like, couldn't you find a guy your age? Like, you married him for wealth, right? Like, what can you possibly want from grandpa? That's what Romanian think. But if you say that in the West, it's misogynismus, isn't it? My largest gap relationship was 18. Well, my largest gap relationship is with my wife, and it's just 8 years of age. But like for Twitter, that would also be unacceptable. Don't delete the stream, you bigot. Pay me. Pay me and I won. Why are random women worried about relationships? Oh, because they're realizing that there's nothing they can do about it. Right? So like, if you're a woman and you reach a certain age, you're just not going to be as attractive as the younger models. And for men, it's the opposite. Like, when you're a man and you're young, like, if you live with your parents and you don't have a car, it's very difficult to find a significant other. And there's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing, right? So all you can do is cope and sieve. And this is what women are doing, right? Now, take into account that guys are the same. They're looking at other more successful men and they're like, oh, why is this guy such an asshole? And it's got a lot of women. Oh, look at this douchebag, blah, 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 blah. And it's the same with women, right? Like, they're looking at someone like Leonardo DiCaprio and they covet him. I mean, he's a guy with high status, very wealthy, good looking. And it's like, oh, I want a man like that. And when they're looking at who that man likes, it's young women, and they're not young. So they're like coping and sieving. US men need to start forcing women to be held accountable. I don't think you can, though. I don't know. I don't think you can hold strangers accountable. I don't think it works. It's kind of like going on the street and asking a person for money and throwing a tantrum when they say no. It's literally the same. Anyway, I should end it here because it's been more than an hour. Thank you guys for the super chats and the donations. Hopefully the stream was interesting. I will not delete it because Lixion Doppelganger did pay me. So, yeah. See you guys in the comment section. Take care.